Welcome back to American Agenda. Bob Sellers here with Heather Childers. Vice President Kamala Harris starting off the Memorial Day weekend on the wrong foot to a lot of people. Some were aggravated by what they call her tone-deaf tweet when she posted this: "Enjoy the long weekend." And attached to it a photo of herself. Now, this caused Republicans and Democrats alike to respond with outrage in some cases, as the weekend, of course, meant to commemorate, recognize those who fought and died for our freedoms. Here's something I remember, Bobby. I remember Kamala Harris. You look at her when she came on the scene as one of the Democratic candidates for president. She's got the resume. She has the intelligence. Outwardly, she has a good look. She has a minority background, what the Democrats seem to have. But the more people saw her, the less they liked her. And I'm wondering, is she just has this tone deafness through her that just never really connects with people. For instance, you don't have to like President Trump, but there are tens of millions of people out there that relate to everything he says.
Yeah, it's just interesting because, again, when she came on the scene, I had friends that said, oh, wow, she's going to be one of the challengers. She's going to be one of those that are in, July and August still hanging around. But no, because when she just can't connect with people. And I don't know if she's tweeting this herself or if her staff okayed this. But you see the line, enjoy the long weekend. But then the picture, there's no graveside or folded flag or parents or, young kids. There's nothing. It's just a picture of her. I think that when I saw that, that's what drove me crazy more than anything. And her follow-up tweet, the damage control tweet, I still felt short. I might have been picking at it a little too much, been too angry for this one. But even that one I thought fell short. But this one certainly doesn't show anything, any knowledge of that she has any kind of comprehension on what Memorial Day is all about.
And here's what gets me, Ash, is this is an experienced politician. She was attorney general. She was a senator. She went through the process of running. It seems like before you would tweet something like that, you'd think, okay, Vice President of the United States, I'm a heartbeat away from being the commander-in-chief. Maybe I should put something out there, not just have a good time and get some great deals at the stores, but maybe I should acknowledge those who paid the ultimate price.
Well, and what's just unbelievable is she did it from her actual VP Twitter account. It wasn't that she did it from her.
So do you think she did it, or do you think her people did it?
I think ultimately her people did it. I think her biggest problem, I've run campaigns at every level, as you know, and the reality is these tweets are thought out by staff long before they ever get to the candidate. And a lot of times the candidate rarely ever sees them before they go on Twitter. I think that Kamala Harris's biggest problem is she's surrounded by what I like to call bubble people, meaning they only live in Washington, D.C. They live in these liberal echo chambers, and they just don't know what average middle Americans and middle class Americans want to hear. And so they think that, all their friends and everyone they're surrounded by just want to have a really great long weekend, and no one really cares whether you celebrate Memorial Day or not. And her problem is that she's not surrounded by anyone that actually knows what it means to live in regular America. And she hasn't for years. She's a product of the system that she created. And ultimately, it's going to be her demise as she tries to run for president in the future, because she just can't connect with average Americans. I mean, look, we've lost 18,500 Americans since 2006 in civil wars, and we have 20,000 suicides a day from military members that have had negative experiences on the battlefield, and she isn't even going to mention it as our vice president. I think it's a huge mistake for her, and the damage control just makes it worse.
Heather, this is something. Now, when I was growing up, it was almost a given that if you ran for office, you would have had military service in your background. But now so many do not, that it's not their first thought.
Right. But yet it was the former president's first thought, I think, in my opinion. I think that he was very pro-military, pro-law enforcement, but he didn't have that specific experience in his background. I think that it boils down to people like the Vice President Kamala Harris and others within this administration being more concerned about being politically correct than they are concerned about being authentic and not, in an effort to be truthful, then you take the backlash. And that's what President Trump did. I think President Trump was successful with so many people because regardless of whether or not you like the way he delivered certain things at certain times, they knew that he was authentic. And I think when it comes down to several people in this administration, the vice president being one of them, she has a problem with authenticity.
Melanie, your thoughts?
But I think that she was being authentic here. I think what was on her mind when she made that, when that tweet was made, was have a great long weekend. I think that she does lack appreciation for the service for those who have lost their lives in military service. If she didn't lack that appreciation, her first thought would have been to honor their memory, as she should have, as second in command, as a whisper away from being commander in chief. It's an epic fail on her part.
Yeah.
What about President Biden? What do you think, Heather? About his acknowledgement of this? Not as much of a transgression?
I think that he's a little different because I do know that his son obviously was a veteran, served in Iraq, was the Delaware National Guard, a member. And so I think that he spent part of today honoring his son and other veterans. So I think that's a different situation. But what I meant by saying that Vice President Harris and others are not authentic, and I think this is where President Biden falls into this category. They have people telling them what to do, people telling them what to say, people telling them what issues to focus on and how to present things. So it's not themselves being authentic about anything, regardless of how they feel one way or another. And I think that the American people can recognize that.
And when it comes from Donald Trump, you know it comes from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure all of us on the panel want to pass out our appreciation to those that paid the ultimate sacrifice and their families that survived them. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ash Wright, Melanie Collette, and Bobby Eberle. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be back with a little more.
And thank Melanie for your service this Memorial Day as well.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.